So in this podcast, it will be a series of miracles, and it's just sharing extraordinary miracles from ordinary folks like ourselves, and just to really celebrate the wins and also to be relatable to people who use our brands and people who hear about us. So thank you very much for joining us on this podcast.
Thank you.
So Lisa, you climbed the corporate ladder for over 20 years, managing revenues of up to $100 million and even up to 50 employees at one go. So just to check with you, I mean, how do you manage corporate life, especially since at that point of time you had two very young children?
Well, I think it's always trying to find like the joy in what you do. Sometimes people say that balancing, work-life balance, but it's really hard, especially when you are just driving out and you're just starting and you have work, you have family, that's really quite hard. So if it is something that you need to do, find the joy in what you do and try to ensure that the responsibilities that you have, you managed it as best as you can.
Okay.
Yeah.
I'm sure you were also like breast pumping and all that, right? And then hiding after going for like big major meetings and all that, and traveling even when you have very young children. So did you ever suffer from like mommy's guilt?
Yeah, I think that is common. I think every mother will actually go through that. And interestingly, that you brought up about breastfeeding. And at that point in time, I was traveling a lot. So it's like how you find places to pump in between your meetings and then ensuring that you are able to freeze the breast milk. And then you have to have a cooler bag to ensure that you bring them back.
So you were like a cow on the road, is it? Just smoking as you go?
Yeah, and in a way, I'm not the only one. It's really good to know that there's a lot of mothers that actually still does that.
Yeah.
Yeah, so they do that between work and so forth. So I think if there's a will, there's always a way. And when you really have that intention to really do it, there's actually quite a lot of kind-hearted people that we meet along the way. They will still spare you like some clean places and so forth to help you. And it's amazing that, like sometimes our customers and our clients and so forth, the places we go, like the hospitals and so forth, they will still help you to keep the breast
That's very
milk.
sweet.
Where's the weirdest place that you breast pumped?
Well, because of our nature of our work, so we are usually breast pumping in hospitals and so forth, or at some meetings, they at least give you some storeroom and so forth, at least some privacy.
So, after a bad day at work, sometimes then you go home, you see your children are already sleeping in the beds. They can't wait for you because you're home at 10 or 11 p.m. Have you ever wondered, should I just give it up? Or, is this worth it?
Yeah, so that's also another very common question. And I think for my team, because in the past, a lot of my team members are ladies, and because they are all young ladies. So in the past, we always joke that, we really need to schedule and time out, when the pregnancies are going to be.
Can plan on me. Can plan when people do it on me.
Can plan.
So I ever have colleagues that really walk into my room and tell me, and they cry, when they found out that they are pregnant. It's stress. It's really stress that, and the timing is not right? Because we may have launches and it's at the peak of the work and so forth. But I always tell them, that children is really God's gift and that we'll just find a way. So don't worry about it. And so far, it has always been good.
Okay.
Yeah. So I always remember that for my colleagues, I used to tell them, why don't you just go back, put all the kids to bed? Then it's so common that we just switch on the computer that after like 11 o'clock, 10:30, 11 o'clock, and then we are meeting everybody online, like 11, 12 midnight. It's common. Yeah, and then nowadays you can work from home and so forth with Wi-Fi. It is not difficult. Yeah.
I think nowadays easier. Last time not so common.
Yeah,
I
not
feel.
common.
Yeah, it's not so common, but it is still possible. So even at my time, because we know that we have children, and if let's say they're having exams, PSLE, and every mom with a kid must pass through PSLE, and it will be the mother who is taking the PSLE more. Yeah. So how we are just going to help the children after work and then put the children to bed, everything is okay. Then we just do the remaining of the work.
I think it takes a boss with the experience to be able to be understanding and compassionate. Imagine.
Yeah, it's true.
Yeah.
That's true. That's true.
Yeah.
That's true.
Yeah. And I think I was also blessed that I had very good bosses at that point in time. So to us, we always look at outcome. It's not just clogging in the time. So they are flexible. They allow you to have that flexibility. And then you just get your work done. And they just trust that as long as you go back, you know what you got to do. You know, you settle your home responsibilities and you just complete your work, and that's okay. Yeah.
So what can you say to a mother who is busy pursuing a career, a corporate life, and also experiencing mummy's guilt?
I would say that, and that was something that I used to tell some of my colleagues, because after they give birth, when they come back, they always want to quit, right? So it's very common. And I used to tell them that when we are working, then we use the resources that we are making to make us feel less guilty. So what I mean is that in the past, I'll tell my colleagues that, choose the right school, that maybe they have the support to take in smaller children, so that while you're at work, you hope that there's somewhere that's really taking care of your kids. They're also studying and they're also learning in a way. And then there's school bus. I know that a lot of parents would want to fetch their children, but sometimes it's not possible. And some of us really travel a lot. So if you're traveling, how are you going to fetch your kids? So we'll find those school bus that at least they have 2 person, 1 driver, and then 1 auntie behind to take care of the kids. And then we just trust.
Yeah. So I was not a school bus kid. I was always fetched around by my aunties and all that, right? But not in lorries and vans, not limousines and all that. But anyways,
I think Mercedes.
Bus driver.
that's a good one.
Yeah.
Yeah. So anyways, so Winthrop was a school bus kid. And then he always insisted at 3-4 years old take school bus. Like, so putting preschool take school bus. Very kicsim, so small, go into the school bus. But then I realized there was merit in taking school buses. When people are queuing the long queue up to Blackmore's Drive or wherever, right? The school bus reach already. So, and then they reach earlier. But if you leave it to us, I confirm every day late for school.
And that was the same thing, because I also grew up whereby, my parents brought me to school. Yeah. And my husband was different. So he used to say that just put the child in the school bus because they will learn how to take care of themselves. But, school bus, how you're handling school bus, and friends and bullying and so forth, that's for another series.
Yeah.
Must wake up very early, take school bus.
Yes.
Depending on where you stay, if you're the first one, maybe like 5:45, you got to be.
Yeah, that's true. That's true.
Yeah. Parents have to wake up earlier too.
Yeah.
Exactly. So my son, the school bus comes at 5:45. Yeah. So it is really early. Yeah. But that's not when they are so small. But as they grow older, some of the school buses are very early. Yeah.
So maybe I can share a story about school bus incident. So my son is a very sweet-natured boy, but there's one day he came in for lunch, eating his lunch, and then his tears were rolling down. It's so pudding. Then I asked him what happened. He said, because I think at that point in time he was quite young, so he was a bit rolly, a bit round, for lack of better word. And I think some of the boys were like teasing him, right? Then my helper, who's been with us for like 12, 13 years, was very angry. Tomorrow morning, I'll go down. I said, hey, but Mel, please don't go and make things worse. I don't want parents to call me after that and scold me back, So she went to the school bus and went up into the school bus and looked at the boys. Which of you bully my boy? I tell you, I'm watching you, okay? Then
Best Helper of the Year award.
Yeah. So all the kids stopped after that.
You
Yeah, but I guess it's sometimes being firm, even with school bullying. You don't need to go and call the principal, call the school, call the parents. You just need to firmly tell the children, I'm watching you, please behave. And it happens and solves the problem as well.
He didn't feel embarrassed.
He was embarrassed, but I think it made the problem go away. Yeah, but of course, after that, we changed school bus after some months, and it was better. But he remembers the incident. He remembers the incident.
But some kids, they would refuse, Don't do anything, don't say anything.
Oh, yes,
so
yes, yes.
embarrassing.
That's true.
Yeah.
That's true. Then how incidents like this, then what can we do?
Yeah, so we had a similar incident. So I always find that, I will take counsel and advice from my good buddies who are older than me. So in this case, my son also got bullied. So a lot of times they always think it's the girls that get bullied, but it can be boys, it can be girls. It's not gender specific. So it's the same thing. But we took a different approach because we are not all the time at home. My helper also went down. So each time it will be, this one is the returning trip. Okay, so when they are coming back, then my helper is just there to just smile because they're all very young kids, kindergarten kids, right? So we will just smile and then ask the children, have you all been good children today? And then you single out the one and say, oh, hi, let's say John or Peter, have you been a good boy today? And you just continue that just for 1 week. Every day you just say, hi, hello. You just singled out, oh, how's the day today? And then you realize that there will be a change. And the good thing was that after 2 weeks of doing that, actually my son and the other boy became good friends. Yeah, because
That's like the power of positive reinforcement.
yeah. So because they know that they are being watched,
Yes,
and then you're
yes,
trying to
yes.
encourage a positive behavior. And that turned out well.
Yes,
Yeah.
yes. I think that's your 秘籍 there, to be honest. Because I've known you for how many years? Like 20 over years, right? And then you survive corporate life. MNC life is not easy. Everybody's trying to climb the corporate ladder. Everybody's trying to go to AP. Everybody's trying to be the next director, right? But you have such a sweet soul about you. Sometimes I wonder, like, how did you manage to deal with all the, the cat claws, the so-called more bitchy girls or even men, how do you rise above it, still be as kind and stay true to yourself and still survive those things?
So I would say that everywhere you go, definitely, those people that is likable and a little bit more challenging, not so likable, they will always be there. And it's also a different perspective. Like I always tell myself, I hope that to some people, maybe they'll think that I have the claws, And to some people, they'll think that I'm very, kind and sweet,
Got wings.
Yeah. Oh, yes.
Angels, wings.
Angelic, But I think I always try to see if I can try to understand from the other person's perspective. What is it that's bringing out the claws in other people? Okay. And it also depends in different levels when you're working. It's a different levels of challenges that you face. I always try to think of how to bring out the better side of one another.
So do you think like in the corporate life, right, like we should all have claws that we whip out when we need to? Do you think that's something that is needed for corporate survival?
Okay, I think for corporate, also depending on whether are you at that level that you can try to take care of your own house. Okay, you must always ensure that your house is in order. You must try to protect your own turf. Yeah, that one you can't run away. Because if you cannot protect your own turf, the people will definitely try to take an inch,
So that's when
they'll
your
come in
claws
more and
come
so
out.
forth. Yeah, so it's always trying to build like a good team. And it cannot be a one person's rule. You need to really build a good inner circle of friends and colleagues that has the same aspiration as you. And if you build a good, strong team together, a core team, and then together, you just ensure that you take care of your little house. Yeah.
I totally agree.
So working with all these people with claws and more challenging people, I always find that if you manage to win a person that is hard and it is challenging, sometimes that friendship becomes a little bit more meaningful. And if that person is difficult to work with, and yet you can win that person over, sometimes magic just happens.
Wow.
Okay, so is there anyone in the team or outside of the team that is so difficult and you did not manage to win over? And if it's within your own team, what do you do with this person?
Let's say it's not within your own team, then it's very good. You're not in my circle. It's just that you just keep off my turf.
Yeah.
Then I think that's easy
Okay,
in a
but-
way because that person, you don't need to worry about that person. But if that person is in your own team and that you have really tried your very best and it doesn't work and it has happened before, then it's time to actually have a real conversation. So when you have a real conversation,
All fake conversations.
when I say real conversation, it means that you don't sugarcoat.
Yeah, you
know,
put everything out on the table.
You really call a spade a spade. Because a lot of times, in corporate setting and so forth, you'll try to be very nice, you try to at least give that person a chance. And then sometimes by telling that person in a very encouraging way, that person just don't take it and they don't understand. So when you have a real conversation, it is really, you fold up your sleeves, and then you really tell the person what are the things that that person needs to take note. And that if it doesn't work out, then there's no love lost. That they have to find their own better green pasture. And that, if my green pasture doesn't fit with your type of aspiration, then it's good that, everybody part ways.
Okay, so
find
it has
other
happened
places.
before lah, that the person actually found a greener pasture.
Yeah. So usually I always find that, it's how we are going to have that real conversation. And after a few times, everybody understands. And if they can't take your way and that this is the place that you are managing, then it's either, you must see eye to eye with the team that you're working with. But if it's going to be so difficult, then no love lost.
Like in the corporate setting, right? We talk about like politics, we talk about, bitchiness and all that. Do you think that men are more bitchy than women at the workplace? We always assume it's the women, right? But do you think when it comes to that, is there any,
Okay, my kids will tell me, Mom, beep, But I feel it's not gender specific. It can be, a lot of times people stereotype that, it's the girls, but a lot of times it can be the guys. And then it's just different, you just need to learn to know how to deal with it. I think it's not just corporate setting, For me, work, home, social, in a way it's about the same. But if areas that you need to be a little bit on guard, you need to think of ways.
I think it's very important to learn to guard your own heart as well, even as you're trying to show people truth with love.
Yes.
At your level, when you're taking care of so many people, actually your own heart matters more, because if you're affected, everybody else around you gets affected. So to keep that sanity, protect yourself and all that, this is why you have all your jiangjuns and your lady generals around you. Your pillars of support, so that you know that you're not alone. Even if you had to fight somebody, even if I have to protect my own turf, you have a few jiangjuns with you.
Yes. Yeah, and I always think, like sometimes people say that, it's hard to make good friends at work. But I feel that I've been very blessed. So throughout my whole working journey, there's always up and downs. There will always be, very good moments, but there's also very big heartbreaks also, But throughout all, you can always find good friends, good buddies, and people that you can trust and walk through that dark alley with you. So I think that is something that is a blessing for me.
I wanted to ask you one more question, because Singapore is a very unique country. Nowhere in any other places like Australia or Europe or US where there are what we call helpers, domestic helpers, to help career women while they are at work. And you always hear people say, my helper's a nightmare lah. This one really, I don't know how to do anything. I'm very dirty. I will go out with the boyfriend. Blah blah blah. Every 2 years change. Every 2 years change. But we also realize that as mothers, we need to give stability to our children. They need to have stable forces at home. If the father and mother is traveling already, then the helper also every time change. It's also very difficult for the children. But you have managed to have really good helpers. You have 2 helpers at one go. You actually even appeared in some Indonesian media where you actually supported your helper through university. Your helper completed a university degree while being with you. So how do you see your helpers and how do you encourage them? How do you make them your lady generals at home?
I know that at that point in time, because I was constantly not at home, my husband is also traveling, and we need to also take care of our parents. So that's why we had 2 helpers. It can be difficult. And I always feel that it starts with recruitment. It's like work, it starts with recruitment. I will set up, like what are my criterias. And then when you're interviewing, it's also the gut feel. So I think I was quite blessed that the ones that I recruited has been good. Okay, and this particular one that you spoke of, she's been with me for more than 14 years. And I think I run my house like how I run work. Okay, so...
Good.
So actually there's no work-life balance. Everywhere is work.
Yeah. So what I meant is, this is how I am. At work, I'm like that. I have this set of things that I do, and I believe my values and how I do, it is the same. I'm the same at work. I'm the same at home. So I will tell my helpers that they are here, not just to help me to just clean up the house and so forth, because sometimes I'm not at home. So I always tell them that they are my house manager. So from day one, I always tell them that they are my house manager. Okay, and that they need to be my right hand. And I've already told them that if I'm able to do everything, I wouldn't hire them. But because I'm not able to to do everything, that's why I need them to help me to take care of my home front. So for this one helper, she was good. She was able to follow through. And then I make her sit next to my son. I mean, she doesn't need to teach my son too much because they're all kindergarten. So I just need her to sit, do some, simple writing, A to Z and so forth. So I started with homework and so forth. And then she'll help me to supervise my kids as well as some housework and so forth. And then I incentivize them. Yeah, so if they do well, so I have this little bit of
Rewards, reward system.
Yeah.
So sweet, so cute. Yeah.
Yeah, so I think at home, I would say that they don't mind doing extras and to do more. And I always tell them that if I do well, I'm okay, I can do well at work, then, everybody wins. Yeah, in a way. So for this particular helper, in the end, after a few years with me, and then she saw that, in Singapore, because the kids were always like studying, they focus on studying, but because then back at Indonesia, because of their home situation, she had to leave school earlier to work, to support the family. So she requested if she can still continue to go back to school. Then we found out that there's actually this Indonesian high school, and then they can also do their university. And at work, we know, retention strategy, one of them is when they are studying, they are in a way bonded.
Yes.
Yeah. So in a way, I knew that when she's good, and if she wants to continue studying, she'll be with me for a while.
Talent retention.
Yeah. So that's why
I wanted to ask you something that is very real, and I think a lot of mummies also want to know this as well. So sometimes when they empower their helpers and they are not at home often, then sometimes they will hear comments from the helpers. You don't know this, your son don't like chicken wing, man. He only like drumsticks. That kind of thing. Then it makes them feel lousy that the helper knows more about the children than they themselves as a mother. Then how do you encourage mummies like that?
Yeah, I think when they are young, unfortunately, the person that spends more time with the child will have, that preference. And for the mom, it's going to be very hard. When you come home from work, you want your child to hug you and to say that, Mommy, you're the best. And yet now he or she prefers somebody else. And then, so it's hard. But I told myself that what the child doesn't know doesn't hurt the child, because I'm not going to be home all the time. If my helper can take care of my child and be there and really love my kids, I will give that leeway.
Yeah.
But the only thing is that if, let's say, her toner, if she tells me that, don't you know that your child don't like, chicken wing, like drumstick, then that tone is not nice.
Yeah.
So if that
Yes.
tone is not nice, then I will correct that.
Yeah. And how do you
Because
correct that?
I find that positive reinforcement works for me. Yeah. So for me, it's the way that I will treat her. Because for helpers and so forth, you can choose, or these are people that you can choose to be on your home team, correct? So because this helper is good, so I will use the same way. And then I'll tell her that, you're here, you learn certain ways from me, just like I learn certain ways from you. And if they are receptive, they will pick up.
True.
So they will learn a certain way of communication.
Yeah.
So I would say that after this helper of 14 years, she always tell me that the way she talks, the way that she does things, she actually learned a lot. The way
I think
do
mummies
things.
don't realize that they themselves are actually the key influencers at home. You are the culture setter. So what you do sets the culture. If you're angry with your helper, angry with your husband, whatever, right? You must remember, I have the authority to set the culture. And if I set the culture right, over time, everybody will follow. Like you said, your mode of communication, the positive affirmation, they themselves will also pick it up. Then at the end, they say, man, we look so pretty today when you go to work, huh? That kind of thing.
No wonder now I'm quite positive, because I always learn from my chingu opposite me.
Yeah. Annyeong Chingu, you look so good today.
Yeah, and that's how it goes, because if let's say at home and that helper doesn't really communicate or do things the way that you expect, then it wouldn't be you wouldn't be extending their contracts for a long time anyway.
So I mean, okay, so what you're portraying and is really the real you, because you're very strong mentally, emotionally, both at work and at office and at home as well. But not everybody's like you. But then how do you find time to unwind and love yourself? Like at work, I need to be strong for everybody. At home, I need to be strong for everybody. Then Warner, so how did you like encourage yourself? How did you love yourself so that you could run the marathon?
It also comes with age in a way. I mean, when you are younger, it's always not easy.
Yeah.
For a younger person,
Yes, it's true.
when you're working, you're handling family and so forth, it is really not easy. So I think I find strength in my faith, and that gives me a lot of courage, a lot of strength, a lot of peace to know that things will just be okay. So that's one. Two, I have a good group of friends who may have already been through that journey. So I think having a good group of kind-hearted, strong ladies, they may not know how to get it sorted out, but sometimes they can give you golden nuggets of ideas. Yeah. And I also like to have my me time, because being just an introvert, I like to have my me time to unwind. So once I talk to different people and having my own time to reflect and so forth, somehow I just find that works. Yeah.
Yeah, but you got time, man. For me time, you got to so much things to do at the office, come back to home and you still have so
She
much
said she
things
used to go to
where?
a boutique near the office, right? Then she becomes your therapist, right? The auntie there sells her clothes becomes like her, her hideout place.
Yeah, it's
So
true.
you
it's
buy a
true.
lot of clothes means that day you're very stressed.
Yeah, so I always find that you must make things work for you. Yeah. So and different ways. And there was this little boutique that at work, it's just opposite our office. It's so easy to walk across. So, and because at work, sometimes not everything is bothering you or you're not having a good day. You can't really just open your door and tell everybody. You need to think through, and at least you must get yourself in order and that you are calm and you're all right. So in a way, that's why I would go to that little boutique, and that, at the boutique, the clothing auntie will always be so nice, offer you drinks, food, and
Of
then will
course, you buy
serve
so
you.
many from her.
And well, she's happy, I'm happy, and
Yeah.
and then you
Win-win.
come back, and then you can face everybody else with a smile, and so I think sometimes you just need that little bit of
little tricks.
breather.
So you will just take that time off, no matter where you are. If you really need it, you just go.
Yeah. So I always feel that don't think things too complicated. I think those that are close to me will know that, just, simplicity is the best. Yeah. So don't overcomplicate things. Don't overthink through. And in the past, our team used to have this thing that says, analysis paralysis.
Yes.
You overthink things, and then, you are stuck in the same place, and then you don't move. Okay, so if I have a lot of things, I always find that doing different things, you give yourself a break. Yeah. So it's not that you give yourself doing nothing can be more stressful. Yeah. But if you do different things, and sometimes it's something that you may enjoy, that's why go for a little coffee, catch up with somebody, go for a little walk, and so forth. Give yourself a break, do something that you like to do, and then you'll come back feeling better.
Yeah, it's true. Okay, so now we move on to the second chapter of your life. So you were running a corporate life. You were one of the earliest to rise through the ranks to be BD directors and all that. But at one point in time, you had to so-called give it up and take care of two sets of elderly, which is your own parents, your in-laws, and your young children, two helpers, and everybody in between. Right? So from running corporate life, like, having calls from Belgium at 11 p.m. and all that, then suddenly you're driving your SUV, fetching your kids to tuition, and then fetching your parents to Mount Elizabeth or, wherever to see doctors. It's a very huge change. So how did you deal with it emotionally, and how did you redefine your own identity?
Yeah. So I think this is also a journey that some of us will face because as we grow older and then we have aging parents, and then if they are not well, then what do we do? And I think a lot of times is having the right support. And that's why when I had the right support, like I told you, my helper who was really my right hand at home, and I had like very good taxi uncles at that point in
Taxi
time.
uncle's
you
your
know.
friend. Wow, champion.
Yeah.
I'm sure you got market friends as well.
Yeah, yeah. You know, so now I don't call them uncle and auntie anymore because now I am the auntie.
Bro.
Yeah. Yeah, so in a way, you will have to find people to fetch them to hospital. You need your helper to bring them there. And then you go there and then you meet them to mitigate so that at least you expand your time. So at least how are you going to expand your time? How are you going to ensure that you can still do your work, ensure that you're there, critical moments to see the doctor together with your parents and your loved ones, then you have somebody to bring them home, that your home front is okay, and then you can go back to work. Yeah, so it's not easy, but sometimes it takes, that's why they always say, it's a village to take care of a child. But, as they are growing older and so forth, you really need support. Yeah.
So, like when your kids were younger, you had to deal with mom guilt, right? Because balancing career.
Yes.
And I mean, now that they are like more independent and all that,
Yes.
and then you deal with aging parents.
Yes.
So I don't know about you, but I feel like I have this thing called the daughter's guilt.
Yes,
I'm not giving my mother enough attention. I know she wants it, but like, no, I'm not giving her enough attention. I think
Yes.
yeah. So how do you deal with it? I struggle with that. I do struggle with that, And I know I'm not alone, right?
Yeah, so that is also very difficult, that I remembered that we tried to find friends for our in-laws and so forth, and like some of my friends will know, they always joke with me. They don't believe that I set up a flea market, a stall every weekend for years. And I'll just go there, squat
Got a lot of
there,
time,
It's just because my mother-in-law, she likes drawing, and so happened that at that place there was this artist that was drawing. So you need to be part of that community. I mean, she's not really there to set up the store, but she wanted to be part of that drawing community. So anyway, we found that to have that place to sell some small things, that gives her the chance to participate in those activities. Yeah, so I think it's hard, but sometimes if we think through, there are just certain ways that we can come up with certain activities so that we can expand ourselves, because otherwise it's very hard for us to have so much hours and so much time to spend with our loved ones. Yeah, so it's to think out of the box, like sometimes I tell myself, if we can do that for work, we're always trying to think of different ways, creating a different way of a new channel of business, target audience, new branding and so forth. It's the same thing.
That's actually a very powerful philosophy, because like when you like give more, you expand more and you grow. So,
Introduce your mother to her parents or parents-in-law.
Yeah.
Go to the flea market together.
Yeah.
No, but I think you're right, because I think at the end of the day, you want to give them a community, because you on your own, you cannot do it on your own.
Yeah.
So like, for example, my parents also, like, I'm so busy every day, right? And I feel the guilt that when they call me, I'm never picking up phone. And she calls me every time when I'm in a meeting, and I got meeting, she'll call me, So, and then you put on the phone and then you feel quite bad about it. So, but every Sunday, I make it a point for them to go to church. Then they go to the Hokkien or the Chinese service. I go to the English one. Then when we are together for lunch, I just make sure that I really give that 2 hours to them. So then at least every week, by routine, you set a time for them. Then at least you know that every week I'm making time for you. If not, then you're always planning next time. You cannot only meet your Chinese New Year, Christmas, that kind of thing. The big things are important. The big holidays are important. But the routine, the weekly thing does matter as well.
Yeah, and I share with you something that I did for my mom. So because I knew that my dad was terminally ill and that they are very close, so it's going to be a very difficult time. And she loves music. So before my dad passed on, we actually got her this organ teacher, this electron teacher. So we set up this lesson and we found her this wonderful teacher. And she has been at it for years. And it's good because when you are practicing a music piece, you need to practice. And then there's a homework to be handed up because every week the lesson is going to come, right? So she has been doing that. And now my mom is at 88 years old. So she's still having her lessons. So at least once a week, she knows that there's this task that she needs to do.
That's like the
Yeah.
gift that keeps giving, you know.
Yeah.
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 And you give a purpose also.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Next time when I'm old, I also want to take lesson.
I think I can start taking already.
You're not old yet.
Huh?
Not
No,
old yet.
preparing, forward looking.
No, by then you'll learn everything already. You cannot start so young, must start later.
Okay. Keep the contact for me.
Space it out, you know. Maybe now you can do something, then the next 10 years do another thing.
For Jo, she'll be doing her aerial.
Yeah.
yoga.
Yeah. She'll be teaching.
Yeah, she'll be teaching.
She'll be teaching.
Yeah.
She'll show you how to flex at 70 years old. Get that.
Teach, we go and learn.
That will give me a purpose.
Actually, I want to address, like just now, this Jadine was saying that
The new identity.
when you are the younger ones that are doing a bigger role, I think it's when you're young, it's also not so easy because when most of those in your team are older than you, and what if they are like 10 years or more than 5 years older than you, that I always feel that it is not the title, it's the role. I used to tell my friends, if let's say you are now leading them, that is just a role that we are all doing. In time to come, sometimes roles changes. Yeah, but as a whole, if we are a team that's put together, then let's try to at least all work together for the same cause.
Yeah, amen. Okay, so I wanted to ask you one last question. So now that you're involved in a startup like Glovida Pharmacy and returning back to the workforce, how do you feel about this? And also, do you see real value in a pharmacy service like Glovida?
Yeah, so I'm thankful to be back. One thing I always feel is that when your old friends, and people that you work together still see that you have value to contribute, I think that is a very good encouragement for myself. Yeah, and I'm really thankful.
Actually, when I look at you, I see you as an oak tree. You have your roots very deeply rooted in the Word of God and your faith, and then I see behind me season changes. It could be winter, it could be summer, it could be spring, you could be in corporate life, you could be a homemaker, you could be a good daughter, you could be a good employer to help us. But throughout all, you're so strong, and all kinds of birds, all kinds of animals, squirrels can land on your tree, and you will land your weight and become a shade to them. Yeah, but I think at the end of the day, it's really just growing into becoming a stronger oak tree. Oak tree is not created overnight. It's like tauge is today, tomorrow gone already. But it's just building that fortress for yourself so that you can be strong for everybody else. So thank you very much.
Thank you.
Yeah, we hope that your story can inspire others as well, because I think a lot of us are going through that. Yeah, but I think the idea about the Daughters Guild is a new term coming from Jo, head of marketing. She just coined a new term, Daughters Guild. Got Daughters Guild.
Daughters Guild, yeah.
Yeah, why are women always feeling guilty?
I wish. Okay, never mind. Don't say.